Good morning. This is Peggy van de Plage. I'm really happy to be here with you. So today I want to do this free class for founders that assess themselves as underrepresented. So it's you can look at my profile on LinkedIn, but I've been advising investors and entrepreneurs for 20 years. I'm myself an entrepreneur and an investor. So it's a topic dear to my heart. And I really wanted to give some advice to those of you who might face additional hurdles. So we know that being an entrepreneur is super difficult, and being underrepresented is making things even more complex. So what I would like to talk to you about today, first is equity fundraising. Super important for you and your business. Obviously, that's what fuels your company growth, impact your returns, and all these great things. So you need to understand equity fundraising, but more importantly, you need to understand what it means for you as an underrepresented founder. The second is the limiting belief. We're going to talk about that a little bit. Because I saw that being one of the main barriers actually for underrepresented founders. And the last bit is going to be me sharing some of the advice of the things I learned over the years. So first thing about equity fundraising, that is a great study that was put together by Harvard Business Review a couple of years ago, I think. And I'm sure you know already, underrepresented funders really have a small stake in VC's portfolio. So for women, it's around 3%, and for funders of colors, it's also around 3%. Assuming there is some overlap, you can assume there is like 5% of VC funding going to women and founder of color. So one of the things that is challenging for early stage entrepreneur is that usually there is not a lot of data. The company is just starting. So you're really assessed as a founder, as a person, which is obviously opening the door to more BIA. So that study is interesting. It shows, and it's a man-woman study, which I think is actually very similar to a person of color, a person with disabilities, anything that doesn't put you in the main category of founder. And so these are advice that I believe are good for everyone. So the questions you're going to be asked as an underrepresented founder are more prevention focused, meaning more negative questions where it's difficult for you to show great you are. They're more like risk focused, while other funders might be asked questions that are more promotion focused. So questions that will allow them to show how great they are and how great their business is going to be. So one thing that is very important is before you go in a meeting, and that is true for fundraising, but it's true as well with client meeting, with your bank if you want some debt. So really think about what are the 3-5 points you want to come across with, and stick to your script. I would say be a politician. So if the question that is asked is a prevention question that doesn't really put you in the best light, turn it in a way that you always come back to these 3-5 positive points. So when the meeting is finished, they, meaning the VC, the bank, the clients, know exactly what you stand for. And you take control of the narrative versus being, in the seat of answering questions and being more on the recipient end. Another thing I want to mention regarding equity crowdfunding is equity fundraising, is that equity crowdfunding is very helpful for diverse funders. And you have many platforms, WayFunder, FrontFunder, SquareCube, anyway, tons of platforms help funders raise funds. And these have been shown to be extremely supportive to underrepresented funders. So that's something you should look at because that's going to probably help you as well avoid this awkward conversation. The second thing I want to mention is the limiting belief. What I mean, our attention flows, here we are. These are another great study that was put together already maybe 10, 15 years ago, where basically the study was about three groups, a free group of Asian American women, one control group, they were told nothing, one group that were prompted to think about their gender, their female identity, and another group that was prompted to be thinking about their Asian identity. As you know, female identity, you have the cliche that women are not good at math, while Asian identity, Asian are good at math. And it's been very interesting because the performance of the test reflected that. So the people in that study that were told they're Asian, performed significantly better than the average group that was told nothing, and way better than the ones who were reinforced that female identity. So that's super important because before you go in a meeting, think about your winning points. So don't focus necessarily on the fact, oh, I'm an underrepresented funders, they're going to be tough with me, blah, 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 blah. This is a narrative that's not helping you. I know, I've been there. You're an entrepreneur, so you think you're going to bring great value. Otherwise, you wouldn't go through that journey that is extremely difficult. So what are these great winning points that you think you have? And that's the belief you really want to prop yourself with before you go in a meeting, and ideally every day and before every conversation, because that's going to help you change your mindset. And exactly like in this study, put your attention on your quality versus what are your perceived shortcomings. And one thing that is super important as well is, what are these limiting beliefs? Because we don't always realize what they are. It's very easy to realize, okay, I have a limiting belief because, you know, I'm a woman, I'm an immigrant, I have an accent, I come from a very modest background, family background. But what does it mean? For me, it was, okay, people pleaser attitude, poverty consciousness, fear of success, all these things that I needed to understand what they were in order to be able to, you know, release them. And that's something that's super important for you, because again, belief are a great differentiator. That's something I love with people in the US, is that you can have entrepreneur who don't necessarily have the best skill set, but they believe so much in themselves that they're able to bring people with them and ultimately be successful, and way more successful than people who don't have this strong confidence and believe in themselves. So that's something that's going to make a difference for you in your career. So a few advice for you to be even more successful. So build friendly relationship with founders, and founders, you know, who might have gone through the same process than you. Edrizio de la Cruz, and it's behind my screen actually, has started a great newsletter for underrepresented founder. He focuses more on Hispanic and Black founder, but I believe strongly that usually this type of advice are as relevant for women or any other type of underrepresented founders. So, you know, build your support group. Same thing, make sure you're a good match with your investors. You know, like you're going to have investor that would be way more willing to work with you. I have people I know, they will never work with me. They will never work with me. I'm not Anglophone. I'm not a man. I'm not this. I'm not bad. Da, da, da. And it is what it is. Next, too bad for them. So make sure you align with the right people. There is no point in trying to convert people who are not open to differences. Uncover your blind spots. That's a bit what I was mentioning previously. What are these limiting beliefs that you have about yourself that prevent you to be successful, and really release them? And, you know, there are tons of tools to do that. You don't have to go in psychotherapy for 25 years, tapping meditation, visualization, Sedona Hollies. Anyway, there are plenty of stuff on YouTube you can use. That's going to help you. And the last thing that is very important as well is to look at actually the situations you thought was negative, what are the positive of it? So for example, as I said, I'm an immigrant. I have a strong French accent, even if I've been in North America 20 years. Unlikely I will ever lose my accent. Well, you know, I can look at that as it's a differentiator. People remember me because I have a French accent. I'm able to speak 2 languages. Anyway, you know what I'm saying. So what is the positive of what you were focusing on as a shortcoming that was a barrier to success? So I hope you enjoyed this free course. Again, that was a snapshot that I hope is going to make you think and change your perspective. You don't want to give your power away by saying, oh my God, I'm a victim, I'm a woman, I'm this, I'm that. That's not going to help. So it's really about taking back your power and playing the game. You need to be in the game to change the rules of the game, open up the doors and lift over people. So it's very important. So I have a newsletter, which is actually more an angel investing newsletter. Always important for entrepreneurs to understand how investors think. So I would recommend you reading it. I have other courses on Podia. You can look at that, and please share your success stories. Nothing would make me happier to hear about the experiences you've made following that course and all your success. So thank you for watching. Wishing you a lot of luck and looking forward to hearing from you. Thank you. Bye-bye.